All right, welcome back. So today we're going to jump right into it. We have a lot going on, but I'm sure you can guess what is an activity that we will be doing because of the music. The hint is in the music. So yep, you've guessed it. It's a Kahoot. So let's get started. Let me put up the math question on. So for today, the math question is primed for thinking of different ways of solving the question. So please, when I put it up, please try and brainstorm the different ways that you can think of to answer this question. Okay, so let me share my screen and then let's do it. So we're going to do number 26 today. So I'll give you a minute to do this question, and please follow these approaches and try and think of different methods to solve the same question. All right, another 15 seconds. Okay, all right, 3, 2, 1. All right. So for this one, this is a tricky question, so it's okay if you're struggling with this a little bit. So let's look at the question. The surface area of a cube is 6a over 6 times a over 4 squared, okay, where a is a positive constant. Which of the following gives you the perimeter of one face of the cube? So we highlight it. We notice that this is a second part question. So this is asking for the perimeter of one face of the cube, okay? Remember this, but it's asking for surface area over here. So don't get tricked by second part questions. If you fell for this, remember these two. If you notice a second part question, write it out and write the ask clearly. So what's the ask for this one? Param of one face. Okay, so it's this value right here for all of them put together. Okay, that's the value that they're looking for. So just make sure to compare it for all of them, okay? So then we read through the options. What do we have in the options? A over 4, A, 4A, and 6A, okay? Not much stands out except for that this is A divided by 4, and this is A times 4. So there's a couple ways to solve this. The first is, the first I'm gonna go over is the algebraic way, which is the long way. So what's that way? If you notice, if length is one side, so for example, if this is L, then the surface area of the cube is L squared times 6, okay? So if you equate this to 6A over 4 squared, then you get L is equal to A over 4. Okay, if you equate this to this formula. So if L is equal to A over 4, what's the perimeter of one face of the cube? It's 4L. So peri equals to 4L, which is equal to A over 4 times 4, which is equal to A. Therefore, the answer is A. The other way you can do this is you can do this using plug and chug. So this gets a little tricky. So you say 2 let A equals 4, just to make life a little easier, we think. So we have surface area is equal to 6 4 over 4 squared, which is equal to 6. So then you notice that, okay, you can't really turn this into perimeter because this is 6 units squared, right? Whereas perimeter is in units. So then you have to follow this logic over here. And through that logic, you will notice, you will essentially realize that L is equal to 1. And therefore, the peri is equal to 4L, which is equal to 4. And then what you do is you plug in A is equal to 4 into all of these. So here you get 1, 4, 16, 24. So then again, you know that the answer is B because we got the peri to 4. So plug and chug is a little tricky here. It doesn't really work. Actually, formulaic is faster. The best method, however, for doing this is actually method 3, which is, we did this last time once, and it again works here. So we should learn this as a different approach, which is going backwards. I call this going backwards. So we are given surface area, and we have to find perimeter. But what we can do actually is we're also given perimeter because of all these answered responses. So from perimeter, we can check the surface area. So if I have a perimeter, okay, so if I have a perimeter, to get the surface area, I have to divide the perimeter by 4 to get the length. And then I have to square that length to get the surface area of one side of the cube, and then multiply it by 6 to get the surface area of the entire cube, okay? So this is now equal to surface area. So if I compare this to this equation over here, which is 6, to this equation, 6a over 4 squared, I will notice that peri and a are actually the same, right? You notice in this equation and this equation are the same. Therefore, you can notice that A is the right answer. Or the other way to do this is then you do each option divided by 4 squared times 6. So you do this for each option over here, A, B, C, and D, and then you will notice that B is the right answer if it doesn't immediately jump out to you, okay? So let's go and do the writing question for today. That was for math. The writing question, let's do number 7 today. So I'll give you another minute to do number 7. All right, another 15 seconds. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's go. Let's look at this question. So remember, in these type of questions, there's one thing that you must always do first. We've already talked about this in our previous classes. There's one thing you must always do first. What is that one thing? That one thing is noticing which sentence we're talking about. We're talking about sentence 2, which is over here. But notice how they try and trick you. They put the number 7 over here. So it makes you think we're talking about this sentence. But actually, we're talking about sentence 2. So don't fall for this trick. This is a really annoying and dirty trick. So don't fall for that. You know now, never to fall for this. Look for the sentence number. Okay, so if we work with sentence 2, then we have a gift in this sentence, which is the word but. So if you'll notice, this is a common, what is it called? Conjunction. It's a common conjunction. So we know, therefore, that whatever comes before but has to be somewhat opposite. So what we use in this one, the tool we use is point of sentence. So the point of sentence 2 is 3D scale models. Ease can be arranged with ease, which is boon to scientists. So 3D models is easy gift for a scientist. And there's a but before this. Therefore, the sentence before this has to be the opposite. So if we look at the questions, we see that in this question, this is the only sentence that comes up before that is somewhat more difficult, which is rearranging using artist renderings, which is more manual and more difficult. Whereas in this one, you have 3D models, which are more exact, and artist renderings are not exact. So that's one way to do this. The other way to do this is to check the point of sentence of every other sentence. So if we notice in this one, in the past, research was limited. In the past, research was limited by the weight and bulk. So weight and bulk and 3D being easy are not really related. So therefore, you cannot put it after 4. For number 3, a team is making models 1/10 of the size, so smaller models. The point of number 3 is smaller models. Again, smaller models and 3D being easy are not really related. They cannot be joined with a but, so you're moving number 3. And here we have a significant benefit of 3D printing tech. After this sentence would make sense if these two words were not there. If but now was not there, then this sentence would somewhat be related because we're talking about 3D printing and 3D models, why they're beneficial. But because this sentence is actually, these two words are here, therefore we cannot put this after 1 either. So this is crossed out. So these are all crossed out because it doesn't work with the sentence. So the answer is number 5. All right, so let's do number 8 now. We'll do number 8. So this one's a little easier, so I won't give you as much time. So please do number 8. All right, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. So if you will notice, this question is simply asking the same thing, conjunctions, is looking for conjunctions. So how do we do this? We do the point of sentence approach. So point of sentence before is CT scanners can map objects that scientists cannot observe. So scan cannot see, okay? Point of sentence after, here is research. Research in the museum has relied on this technique to study fossilized skeleton that was discovered protruding from a rock at Old Sao Paulo. So this was scan used in Sao Paulo. So you will notice these are related. These two sentences are related, okay? The biggest hint of the related is actually this technique. So this technique, if you see a pronoun like this, always refer it back. What is this technique talking about? It is talking about CT scanners, okay? Or this entire technique talked about in the previous sentence. Therefore, these are again related positively. So because of this, we can cross out by contrast immediately. So we know it's not A. Notice also how nonetheless and besides are the same. They're talking about the same thing. So we've talked about this before. Henel brought it up. If two words mean somewhat the same thing, you can cross them both out. For that reason, and also for the reason that they indicate that these words suggest that point of sentence before should be opposite point of sentence after, which they're not. Therefore, the correct answer is, for example, because these two sentences are related. Okay, great. So that is it for this. Let's go back into writing. So we will do writing today, and we're going to review the last 2 types of questions. So there's a lot going on here, so just work with me, bear with me. We will relate with these? Give me 1 second. Okay, so we have 2 types of questions left for us to do. So what are those types of questions? The first type of question is number 3. So I'll just walk you through how to do these questions, not do it right now together. So for number 3, actually no, sorry, take 30 seconds to do number 3. So they're looking for the definition of directly, and we have the word directly in line 65 over here. And we have directly in line 1 over here. Okay, so you read these sentences. Now you'll do the question. Okay, so let's do this one. So in this question, these questions are actually really simple once we know how to do them. So the first thing to know in these questions is that context matters. So note I've written 1, context matters. So what does that mean? What that means essentially is if you were to only look at directly, you would think that the definition means frankly. That makes sense. The definition of the word directly on its own can mean frankly. Like if I speak to you directly about your performance, I can be speaking to you frankly about your performance, okay? But the thing is, in this context, that's not the meaning of directly. So always make sure that context matters. So look out for context. The second step that you then do is you substitute. What does substitute mean? Is you read this sentence again with these different words. So if we try frankly, then we have, I ask frankly because the use of a go-between takes much time. Or confidently, I ask confidently because the use of a go-between takes much time. I ask without mediation because the use of a go-between takes much time. And I ask with precision because the use of a go-between takes much time. So if you just substitute these, you will quickly realize that frankly and without precision and confidently can be crossed out using just putting it that word in the sentence instead, right? The last one, if this does not help even, then it's nearby clue. Look for nearby clues. So what's the nearby clue in this case? So we have directly over here, okay? The nearby clue is this sentence here, because the use of a go-between. Now, in this sentence, you will notice that directly is the opposite of a go-between. So in the sentence, he's saying, I'm coming directly because the opposite, which is the use of a go-between, would take much time. So using this clue, you can then understand that he's talking about without mediation. So no go-between. So this is the 3-step process. It's just really, this is it. This is as simple as it gets. If you follow this 3-step process, you should be able to get the right answer. So let's check this with the others up here. So confidently, frankly, without mediation with precision. So let's go up here. The first thing we do is substitute. So we have, Akira came frankly, breaking all tradition. Akira came confidently, breaking all tradition. Akira came without mediation, breaking all tradition. And Akira came with precision, breaking all tradition. So just through this, we should realize that Akira came without mediation, breaking all tradition, right? But where's the clue here? Where's the nearby clue here? Well, breaking all tradition, and had he asked his mother to speak to his father to approach a go-between. The hint is again nearby. So it does not have to be in the sentence, the same sentence, it can be in the same paragraph. So look for that hint and you will find the hint nearby. This is not always true. Just note it's not always true. It's mostly true. So I promised you that this will be an easy question once we follow the approach. So why don't we do the next question here, number 8. So if we look at number 8, then you will notice that form is similar to appearance as structure. So like the form of a building or the structure of a building or the form of a body, the structure of a body, or the form of like the format, the appearance, right? But again, context matters. Remember the first one. First thing is context matters. So if we do 1, context matters, we can cross out A and C, but not just because they mean directly, but because we substitute. So if we go back into line 8 up here, where is form? Let's remove this. form is over here. So if we substitute now, what had he followed appearance, that does not make sense. Had he followed custom, that makes sense. Had he followed structure, that could make sense, but does not really make sense because structure is talking about how something is structured. And had he followed nature, that also does not make sense. So by substituting, you get had he followed custom. Even if that does not give you the answer, then you know that what does form even mean here? Again, the hint is mother speak to his father, follow go-between, or breaking all tradition. Same thing as before. These questions seem to be related. So you can know that custom is to follow, to use a go-between. And this requires you to read the entire passage for you to realize that custom is actually using a go-between. And the support for that comes in over here. Please don't judge the unseemliness of this proposal. There's the hint for the structure. Okay, so that's it, friends. This question is as simple as it gets. 3 steps: context matters, substitute, and nearby clues. That's all it takes. So let's do the second type of question, the second and last type of question in reading. Well, actually, second last. What's that type of question? Is that is the line evidence. So in this question, you're looking for the line evidence to answer question 4. Okay, so question 4, if we remember for last time, when we did keyword analysis, we're looking for something that, which reaction does Akira most fear? And the right answer was A. So the reaction that Akira most fears is that she, who's Chi, will consider the proposal inappropriate. That's the reaction he most fears. So the first thing we want to do in this line approach is this answer should support the question and the response. So what does that mean? It means that you can find a support that she will consider his proposal inappropriate. You can find a support for that. Where is the support for that? Well, right here. Yep, this is the support that she will consider his proposal inappropriate. However, this does not support the question, which is, what reaction does Chi fear the most? So you want something that supports the answer, which is inappropriate, but also the question, which is, what does he most fear? And so you want to be careful in your support. It should support both the question and the response. The second thing is you want to check each line. This is important because let's say you made a mistake in this part of the question. Looking at each of these lines one by one can give you a good hint in case you made a mistake. So let's look at these as support. So if we have line 33 here, so orange is where I've highlighted. So does his voice was soft and refined, does that support what he was fearing, most fearing? Nope. You know children speak so earnestly, does that support what he was most fearing? Also does not support most fearing. Please don't judge my candidacy. That definitely supports what he most fears and also supports the answer, which is unseemliness of his proposal. And D, eager to make his point, he'd be looking straighter in the face. Again, that does not support the answer. So that's how we choose C as the right answer. Okay. The third part, of this question is careful for near but not included. So if you remember, we did this question yesterday. We did question 10 yesterday, if you remember this. And there was line 39 and line 39 to 42. So they do this sometimes, which is 39, you have, I don't want to trouble you. But 39 to 42 is all of this. Okay. So for that question, which is asking us, what is it asking us? Why does Akira say it's a matter of urgency? That's what they're asking us. Then only line 39, which I don't want to trouble you, does not have the answer to why it's urgent. The answer is actually here. I've got an opportunity to go to America. That's where the answer is. So make sure that you don't get tricked by near but not included. 39 is near, but it's not included. So make sure you underline the entire phrase from this word to this word and check if that phrase is correct before you move on. Okay, so that's the third part. Careful for near but not included. And the last part is secret sauce. Our secret sauce applies here again. So how does it apply? Let's look at this. So we have his voice was soft and refined. This is unrelated to the question. It's just completely unrelated. There's no fear and there's no response. So this would be the unsupported or fake news version of ours. Here, this is talking about how Chi views Akira. So this is the true but wrong person. Okay, this is talking about how Chi views Akira, but it's not talking about how what Akira is fearing from Chi, right? Then if we go to C, C is the right answer. And if we go to D, D is eager to make his point. He'd been looking her full in the face. What type of answer is this? I think this is half correct. Or even unrelated. Again, there's nothing about fear here. He was eager. There's nothing about fear. So this is unrelated again. Yeah, there's nothing about fear. And there's also nothing about consider his proposal inappropriate in the answer. And even here. So here you could also make this half true if you want, which is that it's talking about how Chi views Akira, but it's not talking about fear. So you could do that also. Again, this is not an exact science. This is just tools to help you find the right answer. Okay, that's it. This is just it. This is how reading works. It's quite, the second two types of question is quite straightforward if you follow these steps. So please write this in your peer notes. Take a screenshot. So for the most nearly means type question, context matters, substitute, then find nearby clues. And then the second type of question, which is answer, support, you find support that question and response both, something that supports both. Check each line, careful for near but not included, and then the secret sauce applies again. This is it. So yeah, this is it. Okay, so today we will do the Kahoot, but before we do the Kahoot, there's a very important thing we need to talk about, which is test day. So I want you to ask yourselves, do you sometimes perform worse on test day than you perform in practice? Do you perform worse on test day than you perform in practice? So yeah, so I think about 92% of you said yes, you perform worse on test day than practice. So can you tell me why? What's the cause? What's the reason you think that you perform worse on test day than on practice days? Okay, so we have pressure, time pressure, pressure to perform, yeah, peer pressure, okay. There's stress, lots of stress. Definitely you can be stressed on the day, and that comes from the pressure to perform, right? Not being prepared for test conditions. This is an excellent one, definitely. You go into an unknown room, you've never been there before, the desk is small, maybe you're using a new pencil, you would have never practiced with a printed paper. These are new conditions. These can hamper your performance on the test date. Pace, time pressure, yeah, time pressure is big, right? To focus on pace or to focus on accuracy, that's another big one. Peer pressure is also big. Seeing your friends, maybe they're flipping through pages much faster than you are, and that can be a pressure. But there's a big pressure in performance also. There's the outcome matters for this one. So these are all very valid, and I think it's very important that before we do the SAT, we learn how to deal with these emotions and how to deal with these conditions, so that on the test, despite our preparation, we don't fall short. So the Kahoot is just one example of that. We're just recreating that in one way, which is the Kahoot has time pressure. It gives you the ranking of the class after every question. It also plays music, which is very daunting. It makes you want to go faster. And it's a new format. We haven't tried this format before. So there's a lot of things going on in this Kahoot that can be quite similar to test day conditions, but not exactly the same, but similar. So I just want you to notice those things within yourself. As you're doing this test, just notice the presence of those emotions or the presence of those feelings. And then we will have a bigger discussion on how to address it. But the main point I want to make is that these feelings and these emotions are all there, and they're there for a lot of people. And it's important that we learn what to do with them. It's important that we learn to rise above them or to control them so that we can ensure that we have a good performance on the test day. So so we will be talking about this quite a bit, and I hope that you all understand the importance of learning this and getting better at this. And then this is online. The Kahoot is online. Okay, why are you guys clicking the wrong one? This makes no sense. Okay, all right. Ooh, nice. All right, we've got leaderboards already. All right, let's go. Okay, let's do it. Okay, I see. Yep. This was tricky. This was tricky. All right, we'll talk about this. Okay. All right, new leader. Here we go. Let's go. Okay, good. Let's do the next one. Ooh, fire. Interesting fire emoji. What does that mean? All right, new leader. All right, 30 seconds only from now on. Okay, we're doing good. What do we have here? Ooh, one more streak. Okay, all right. Let's do this. Nice. You guys are doing good. You guys are doing great. All right. Ooh, we have someone taking over the lead. Let's go, Ritvik. All right, halfway through, we can still do this. These are good questions, right? You guys have made these questions. These are really good. I love it. Ooh, this one was tricky. Okay. All right. All right, Ritvik's still in the lead. right. Ooh, we got a fire person up in the front now. Love it. All right. Let's go. Let's go. We can do this. Okay, we'll do one more question. One more question. Ooh, there's very little difference here. Let's see what happens. One more question. I love the way this answer is phrased. All right, are you ready to see who wins? Who is it? Oh, he takes over. Whoa, what a last player. What a last minute takeover. I love it. Good job, folks. Kobe, it's all right. All right, okay. I hope that was a fun activity. But not only was it fun, I hope you all learned a bunch of different things. So in chat, can you please write down what was your experience? Keeping them in mind, test date. Did you experience any of those feelings within you? Did you experience pressure? Did you experience fear? Did you experience the music adds a lot of pressure. Yes, I agree. My goodness, that music. Okay, and on the other side, did you experience, was it fun? Did you experience camaraderie, fun, enjoyment, or what other words, like what other positive words did you experience in doing this? It was awesome. Yeah, this was darn fun, right? It was exciting. Was there, did anyone feel anything because this was made by your classmates? Were you like, oh wow, these guys are pretty smart actually, making pretty good questions. These were very well worded questions. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, many people were very impressed by the classmates making great questions. Cool peeps. I agree. Very cool peeps. Ahan wants us to do this activity every single day. So I didn't get too many responses for my yesterday's homework. So maybe if more people do the homework, maybe we can do it more often. Okay, so this is very important because something can be fun, but it can also have pressure at the same time. So I want you again to associate this fun with SAT. These are SAT questions in a different format, okay? So it's possible that you can have this kind of fun in the SAT as well. You don't only need to feel the pressure. So hopefully from this, what you can take away is you have the ability to enjoy the SAT test, okay? And there's no music, there's no intense music. It doesn't give you a ranking every time. So there's also no streaking. So actually Kahoots are much more difficult than the SAT is actually. So one thing I really want you to focus on is again, just, we talk about this so much, just fall in love with the SAT. The SAT is it's a brain puzzle. That's all it is. Yeah, there were more questions, but we ran out of time. So maybe we can finish it next time. We'll see. So the key takeaway is, again, just you can enjoy the SAT. So I want to talk about the other aspect, the pressure to perform, okay? There's a lot of pressure going into the SAT. And I think, Anish, you're right. Parents look at the SAT marks. That adds a lot of pressure. And people say SAT is what get you into colleges. And yeah, Ahan, colleges look at your SAT marks. So there's, again, pressure there. So we're going to touch on that. But the thing is, if you treat the SAT day just like your other exams, just like your other practice sessions, if you do that in the same mentality, you have the capability in your head to fool yourself on that day to just treat this like another exam. Okay, so there is the ability within you to keep that aside. So we will touch on that a little bit more. But I just want you to think over this during the weekend. And oh, we're running out of time. This class is so fun. We don't have enough time. There's a 10 a.m. workout session on Sunday and on Monday, on both days. And there will be no class this weekend. The next class is on Monday. So come prepared. We're going to do another passage on Monday. So please read the second passage of the reading section. And we will continue this topic of, we will continue the topic of falling in love and not feeling the pressure. This is a really big part of the test. So since everybody writes thank you at the end of each class, today I thought I would play a You're Welcome song from Disney, since I never say you're welcome. So here's my rendition for You're Welcome on Your Way Out. So thank you again for this great session.
To say is way away. You're welcome.